On this week's show,
the slowest band on our podcast sees the fastest film to 1 billion. It's Avengers Infinity War again.
I thought he'd be taller.
I surprise everybody by telling them I prefer Android Auto.
Wow.
And it's the story of Keith's ever-expanding waistline. It's the Expanse.
Stay tuned.
Buckle up, motherfuckers! We're about to start the show! It's the Monkey Nut Punch podcast! Oh. And that's how we're going to start it up. I'm just going to do that, just to be different this week. How are we doing, guys?
Oh, good.
Seriously, was that it?
Yeah. What's wrong with buckle up, motherfuckers?
Because you have to say hello to all the various people. We are a neutral podcast here. You know, we're an inclusive podcast. So even if it's just people who identify themselves as attack helicopters, it's our goddamn calling card.
No, hang on a second. This is it. All right, ready? Here we go. People who identify themselves as, and that's the sound of infinity. That way I've covered everyone.
And talking of infinity.
Oh, okay, yeah. Yes, talking of infinity. Nigel, Infinity Wars. So we get to talk about that.
Yay.
Myself and Keith watched The Expanse. I've been dipping into Danish drama on Netflix. Keith's got a surprise for us. I have no fucking idea what the surprise is. And because we didn't do it last week, we'll do it this week. We'll give you our YouTube ideas and bits so you can come along and support us, or you control the fuck out of us. As long as you make it funny, that we can both laugh. I don't mind the trolling.
As long as we're both laughing together, it's all fine.
As long as two of us are laughing at the other one, it's fine. But two of us have to laugh at the other one. Too. Yeah, so that's the only rule. Point. As long as it makes two of us laugh, it's fine.
Yeah, you're absolutely fucking spot on there, okay. Anyway, so yes, there's going to be a bonus bit. Well, not bonus bit at the end. There's going to be another kind of political bit at the end. Which is, as we say, we want to kind of keep this stuff away. But Keith has got an axe to grind with someone somewhere about something, and he'll tell us this later. Infinity Wars. So you watched it, Nigel?
Yeah, I have.
Wait for it. So, what did you think of it?
It was alright.
Yes! I was waiting for you to. It was alright. Not your review on everything.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
On to the next story.
Yeah, on to the next one. Let's talk about the Expanse. I'm joking. All right. So, what did you think? Because I liked it. I thought they went out of the way to give us something different, and
it was different.
I appreciate
typically,
that.
You get a Marvel story where it starts off nice, something shit happens, heroes save the day. It's all nice and cushy. And that just didn't happen in this one, did it? It's a bit different.
No, not at all. Not remotely.
Not remotely. No.
It could have been called Avengers, Everything Goes to Shit.
Yeah.
But I don't think that would have sold many posters or T-shirts. Have you seen that new Avengers film? What's it called? Everything Goes to Shit.
Avengers. 50% die.
Avengers. It's all fucked. It's all gone Pete on.
Yeah.
I was going to say Avengers. Now everybody has seen it. I think in the planet's fucking seen Avengers now. Oh, I tweeted out something amusing. There's a page which randomly tells you if you were killed by Thanos or not.
Yes.
If you go to our Twitter account, you click on it, and it tells you. Were you killed by Thanos, Keith?
No.
You weren't?
No.
Okay. Nigel, did you just click on it?
I've no idea. I didn't even see that.
Oh,
were you killed by Thanos?
Yeah, I was killed by Thanos.
That's because you like the movie. Apparently. I mean, there you go. You know, it's called karma.
I'm desperately trying to find your tweet.
I have seen it. For a third time.
It's got Elmo GIF on it.
Because as Nigel, the world's slowest man finds this. Me and Gav can get on with the conversation. Okay, I've seen it for a third time.
Hang on a second.
I was spared by Thanos.
You were spared. Okay,
But
so I was the only one to die.
Yeah, it's because you like the movie. But
So what? I like the movie.
no, jokes aside, right? Did you think... I was slightly concerned that your kids would take it the wrong way with those deaths at the end. How did they...
I think because, they didn't die in a horrible way. They sort of like melted away or something. They like disappeared like butterflies going off into whatever, or a puff of smoke. And it was a bit comic in that way rather than a bit brutal. They weren't that bothered. Although they were bothered by who was dying rather than the way they died. Not myself.
Well, I mean, I remember you tweeting us yesterday because I was tweeting Nigel just after it's the thing. I can tell you for certain, Black Panther is coming back. Disney have shareholders. There's no way they're killing off their most successful single character movie of all time.
Hang on a second, Keith. Hang on a second. Is it the same actor? Because it's a title, isn't it?
Yeah. No.
I know they're going. We know they're
a-
bringing him back. We know they're bringing him back, but there is a get out clause for that.
There is a get out clause for Spider-Man more so than the Black Panther because they have already hinted at Miles Moran in Homecoming. If you watch Homecoming, Nigel, for your information, because you saw it the other day. It's made by Glover, the guy that's playing Lando Calrissian. He's at a bit part where Peter goes to interrogate him, and he engages interrogation mode, and he interrogates that dude in the car. That is the other Spider-Man's uncle.
Oh,
If they choose to have that.
If they choose to do it. So, whilst I think it's going to be Peter Parker in Homecoming 2, there's no way it's not going to be. There is a get out there that they could potentially bring in Miles Moran. They won't, but there is a potential.
I enjoyed that Spider-Man.
I like it. I genuinely like it. I watched it the other day as well, and genuinely like Homecoming.
I genuinely thought it. They brought in the humour correct with the hacking of the suit and all that sort of bollocks, and the bit where he's at the end where he's offered to become an Avenger by Tony and what's his face, Happy, and he goes, no, actually, I think I want to be, the neighbourhood Spider-Man on the ground, And he goes, and he walks away and he goes, I passed the test, right? That was the test. And he goes, yeah, you passed the test. And out comes, what's her face? I've forgotten her name.
Pepper Potts.
And goes, where is he? I've got a room full of journalists here for a big announcement. And he goes, well, he's kind of going, flips a ring out. And she's going, oh my God, that's going to be the big announcement.
See, the thing that kind of got me about that is Spider-Man, when I think about it, is one, I think that the suit was OP for Spider-Man. Yeah. Mm-hmm. It would have been nice to see him kind of before when he didn't have the suit. Because it was like an Iron Man Spider-Man rather than Spider-Man. And the other thing too is I always get the feeling that in the comics and the cartoons that Peter Parker is pretty much on his own until he goes out of his way to ask someone for help. If that makes sense. That's the kind of feeling. I did that, and then the Uncle Ben thing. But I
would have preferred.
I still think I'm right about the whole Tony Stark Uncle Ben thing. I still think Tony Stark is going to die in Avengers 4, and that is why Homecoming 2 takes place straight after Avengers 4, because that's what they've said. There's all these people that seem to forget that. When Homecoming 2 was announced, they said in the announcement it takes place straight after the events of Avengers 4. That, to me, is a big fucking clue.
I don't think so. I don't think so, because even at $50 million of film, Robert Downey Jr. is the face of Marvel, and you can't kill him off.
I think you can. I think he can, and I think Marvel, considering putting aside our argument last week, there is no doubt that it's a ballsy movie, Avengers Infinity War, and they did what they did in this, and they ended it the way they did. Whether you like it or you don't like it, they did it. I think they will kill off Iron Man, and I think they damn well should, because they want to move on to a new phase. And whilst he was the face of the first, arc, the first 10
second,
years.
third phase.
Well, 10 years. The first 10 years. I mean, it's all been one big arc. All of this has been leading to these two movies that are, this one and the next one. So to kill him off at the end there, I think would work. And then moving into a more galactic, because they've always said they're going to be doing a lot more in space. And, Iron Man has always been earthbound and earth-based. And whilst he's on Titan in this film, he works better on Earth. And I think killing him off and then moving into a more sort of Marvel galaxy rather than setting everything on Earth makes sense. I think they're going to kill him and Steve Rogers off. I think they're going to.
I honestly thought, during the fight with Thanos, which I found Thanos was funny in that instant where Stark has got his armor on, and he pulls out some special OP moves to kick him in the face, roundhouse him in the face, and Thanos sits there and takes a little look, and he's gone, tiny scratch, all that for a tiny scratch, and then he shoves a sword straight through the middle of Tony Stark. I thought that was going to be the end of Stark,
but that was deliberate. That was a deliberate. We got you.
Do you know what it's going to be? Right.
What?
It's going to be a Glenn situation from The Walking Dead.
What? He's going to be hiding under a dumpster
He's
somewhere?
going to be so he's completely fine. They've shown that he's got injured and he's in a shitty situation.
Tony Stark.
And then he'll crawl out from underneath the dumpster and go, I'm all right. Only to die in the next scene.
What? Being killed by a bat with barbed wire in the hands of Thanos. That could work, actually.
Something will happen. Do you know, they've gone, yeah, look, he's everyone's mourning over Glenn in the last episode, weren't they? And then suddenly he's completely fine because he's hid under a dumpster. Only for him to be okay for about a few episodes, and then they meet Negan, and Negan bashes his brains out. Whereas with this, maybe they haven't done the Chekhov's dump, but they've followed the same route. So they've stabbed him and he's healed himself back up once Thanos was fucked off. And then next one near the start he gets injured, or during the film he gets injured, and to the point where he's dead. And then they've done that again.
I don't think so. I really don't think so. I think that
it's not Marvel, is it?
They wouldn't do it.
That's a DC thing.
You don't kill your fucking golden goose. Yeah, no, you really don't kill your golden fucking goose.
No,
yeah, but he isn't. He isn't their golden goose anymore. Black Panther is.
What?
But he's gone.
No, hang on. One film versus God knows how many films he's been in.
One film that's taken more than Iron Man 1 and 2 put together, and potentially could take even more and make more money than all three of the individual Iron Man films. Although Iron Man 3 did make $1.5 billion. So it's got a bit of a way to go to outstrip that. But
I was upset.
But hang on a second. Hold on a second. T'Challa as a character is fucking boring. He's so boring.
He is better in Black Panther. He is boring.
No, it doesn't.
He is a better
It's boring,
character.
full stop. He's boring, full stop. Even in the comics, he's boring. Tony Stark at least had fucking alcoholism to contend with, and the fact that he might not be Tony Stark and he may be one of these fucking monitor creature things and stuff like that.
Here's the thing. Right? I think he's going to be very much like. I think the Marvel MCU is going to be a bit like the whole Doctor Who thing. I think Kevin Feige is going to leave after Avengers Infinity War 4. Really, I genuinely do. There's been hints at it. And I think when he goes, the original sort of gang, like, when the Doctor leaves after the showrunner leaves, kind of thing, that's going to happen. So I genuinely think they're going to kill Tony Stark. Because I think Kevin Feige's off, and I think it's going to move into new hands. And it would make sense. I mean, we've had 10 years of this particular incarnation of MCU, and will be 22 movies or 21 movies when it's all said and done. because this is movie 19. We've got Ant-Man and Wasp in the August, and we've got Captain Marvel literally a month before Avengers 4. Now,
She's the harbinger at the end of the MCU.
I've got a question for you, right? I know my view has slightly softened towards this film, so I can see your point more. But there is one thing they have got to do, right? They have got to clear up, and I sent you a funny cartoon, but it's actually a big fucking hole at the moment, right? They've got to clear up the whole, where the fuck has Captain Marvel been for the last, why didn't you call her when aliens attacked New York? Why didn't you call her when, all life was threatened by Ultron on Earth? Why do you wait till Thanos turns up to call her? Now, there is one theory going around which could be sound.
Well, the first time Nick Fury had genuine faith, in the first Avengers film, he had genuine faith that they would fend back the alien menace. He genuinely did. Yeah, because he was arguing with the people who launched the nuke in New York. Yeah? Just let them do their thing. Yeah, that's it. So we can scrub the first film. Okay?
Potentially. Yes, I can see your argument.
Yeah? Okay, for that one. Because it's like, they've got this. And the reason I put these people together is so that they can handle situations like this. They seem to be handling situations like this. Fine. So then we've got Ultron, yeah?
Yeah, you haven't got one for that.
I haven't got one
there
for
is an
Ultron,
argument here. Because some bright spark on the internet, and at the moment, they've got a good point. Why is it a pager from around about the beginning of the 90s that shows up on it? Are they going to pull her through time so that she still looks the same age as she is when because the movie's set in 92. So somehow they're going to really have to make
Look,
Phil Coulson...
I'd just like to point out that Carol Manvers, is the Marvel equivalent of Rose Tico. She really fucking is. She's fucking pointless.
But she's going to play a very big part in the next film, by the looks of it.
In the comic book, she's flat-chested with a man jaw and a man haircut, and she's probably a lesbian. Unlike the 90s version of her, which was fucking awesome.
Now, are you trying to piss off every
seriously,
feminist?
hang on. Have you read any Captain Marvels, be it electronic like I have, or
Go. You're completely right. It's just you're very blunt.
It's true.
No, it is true. I'm not denying it. I agree with you.
It's like people go, "Oh, Captain Marvel's going to be the next one." Okay, let's get some Captain Marvel comics. Okay, she seems to be arresting people and putting them in internment camps.
But I tell you,
this Kamala Khan character isn't very good either.
There is two things right about Avengers 4, which I think now that I've seen it through a third time, that basically sort of put my back up a bit. Right, it's not what I was expecting, and I was disappointed for that. And you're bang on the money there. But right from the start, it bothered me how it was almost too blasé with the amount of death going on for the Asgardians. I mean, their entire world has just been destroyed, right? And they've witnessed that. They've escaped on a ship just to have half of them blown up. And it's very flippant. Right, and he doesn't do that justice.
I want you to do yourself a favour, yeah? I want you to just think of Thor the Dark World, yeah?
Yeah.
Think of the beginning of Thor the Dark World, yeah?
Yeah.
Thor turns up, kicks the crap out of all these people, destroys one of those rock Korg-like creatures, yeah?
Yeah.
So if we say Thanos is the hero in this story and all our heroes are the villains, he turns up at the beginning, demonstrates his power by kicking the shit out of everyone. It's the reverse of a hero story.
I get
I think that's why that's one of the reasons I liked it, because it was like, that's ballsy.
I get that.
Marvel popped out its fucking cock and balls on the table and went, look at that.
And it's good that we've got a really, really good baddie. From although Marvel's been doing quite well, because the Vulture in Spider-Man was quite a good baddie. Loki's always been a good baddie, but I kind of liked Kilgrave in Black Panther. I thought he was interesting, but Thanos just blows it out the park. And there are quite a few cool elements in it. I still don't like the battle in Wakanda, but part of it, Gareth, is down to the fucking seriously bad CGI. I mean, it is seriously bad.
It's not.
It's almost like they spent all the money on Thanos and just didn't bother with anything else.
I think it's the fact that it's patchy. It's not consistent. I think that's your problem because there are bits where it looks really good, and there are bits where it doesn't look as good.
But those creatures,
and if it was consistent, you'd be fine.
Those creatures they're fighting, you don't really see them. You don't really get a sense of the thing. I compared this the other day, and I'm going to go back to it. The Lord of the Rings thing, because the characters they were fighting in that massive battle scene, although they were CGI, they weren't. They were characters that then had been CGI copied and pasted of people in makeup, and therefore looked a bit more menacing. But you never really see them, so they don't feel menacing enough. It's only when Thanos turns up that you think.
Hang on a second. Are you saying that all they needed wasn't the Wakandan army, but an army of ghosts just to kill them because they wouldn't be able to kill the ghosts because the ghosts were already dead?
I didn't like. I think it's a sense of disappointment, Gareth. I just didn't like that scene. But you are bang on the money when Thor turns up. That is fucking awesome, and I love. The things that I love most about the film, and there are things I love. I love the little scenes. I love the bit with Rocket when he's talking to Thor. So, dead brother. That's a bit of a bummer. I fucking love that because it's so. It's such a nice scene because it's so Rocket, but it's Rocket caring in a really bad way.
Well,
that really works.
He was sitting there at the front going, I might have to go back and do a captain thing, and he goes back to talk to him.
I love that.
Oh God, yeah. But what I would have liked with Thor and because Rocket doesn't actually know anything about Thor except that he managed to last somehow out in space until he hit the ship, and they wondered why.
Because an angel and a space pirate had a baby.
Yeah. And what would have been nice is for Rocket to have made some sort of comment like to Groot, or Groot say something and he goes, "Yeah, he's fucking strong, isn't he?" Or something. You know, when he pulls open the eye for the star, or when he pulls the rings for the forge to start moving again by brute strength, something along those lines. But Rocket just was like, "Yeah, I know he can do this stuff. It does it all the time." But he had never seen him do anything out of the ordinary, except he lasted somehow. You know, maybe I would have liked
I'm still
him
not
to have
convinced
a little,
about.
You know, that would have been nice. A little nod to Rocket going, "Oh, I think we might actually be in the presence of somebody who's a bit of a god or something, because he can do all this stuff that I've never seen no mortal man or whatever do."
Because Rocket tries to save him as well when he's opening the forge manually. That's quite cool as well. I like the interactions between him and Rocket, but I'm still not entirely convinced that the movie would suffer not having that whole Thor storyline in it until he turns up at the end. I'm not.
Well, I think
I'm not. If you cut that, I don't know if you would suffer much. Do you understand what I mean? It was nice
because if he just rocked up and he suddenly had an axe, you'd be like, where the fuck did he get that from?
You could have put my argument was that could have been
what's so fucking special about it. No, it couldn't have been. It couldn't have been. You needed it for the character's development.
You needed to see. Yeah, you needed to see Thor, what he went through, because everyone would be sitting there. If you don't see where he got their new axe from, and he just rocked up with a new axe, blasted everything like he did, and everyone sat there going, "Well, where the fuck have you been?"
Yeah, it's the Chekhov's gun rule. You got to see. The funny thing is that he's going to kill Thanos with that axe.
You think he's going to kill Thanos?
But he missed.
Yeah, he's going to kill Thanos. He's going to kill Thanos, and Steve Rogers is going to undo it. And there's something else that needs to get done in between, which Stark will have to.
Yeah, but they don't copy the comics. They purposely do not adapt the comics the same way.
No, I'm looking at it entirely from a film perspective. The reason I say that Thor's going to do it because it's a Chekhov's gun thing. Okay, he missed the first time he shot. Second time he may get him.
I think he has to because he has potentially suffered more than anyone because. Basically, half of his people have just been wiped out, having already lost their. And that didn't happen when Thanos clicked his fingers, so they really are dead.
Well,
not
there'd be half of the remaining
100% sure
Gauntlet.
they've killed off Loki. I'm not.
See, that's the
100
thing. Is my brothers are like kind of, no, he's dead, Gareth. He's dead. He's dead. He's dead. He's dead. It's like kind of, this is Loki. If anyone's going to pull a fucking fast one when it comes to this, it's going to be Loki.
Could Loki have even been in that room at the time? Because
Well,
he can project
Loki-
himself quite well, and
Loki
everyone
is
thinks he's real.
Loki is the god of mischief, so there's potentially you could bring him back if you want to continue with all these set of characters, which, you know.
Before we move on too much, I just want to give quite a big nod to Peter Dinklage.
A big nod, huh?
A big nod to Peter Dinklage. I thought he was a brilliant, massive dwarf.
Yeah, he was a brilliant, massive dwarf.
I loved it.
I've got one last thing I want to add to this, yeah? When Thanos clicked his fingers, do you think he killed himself?
What,
No.
and went into the gauntlet thing?
And went into the Soul Stone?
Yeah, but you see, this is the thing. Gamora's in the Soul Stone. You're bang on the money. That
Yeah. Hang on a second. Gamora's
Yeah.
in the Soul Stone, but in the comics, when they fool him by putting him in the Soul Stone and put him in the surrounding like that. So did he kill himself out when he wiped out 50% of the universe and he just happened to be... Because remember, there's no choice or anything about it. It could be a big twist. Plus, there are other souls in that Soul Stone.
Yes, there are.
There were three regular people and what's his name, Adam Warlock in the comics, and I know they're not going down that road.
But the comics started with him clicking his fingers. So the very first issue of it was him clicking his fingers and immediately wiping out half the universe. You're like, what the fuck?
Right, okay.
Yeah, that's how the comic...
I told Nigel that yesterday. Didn't believe me. Thanks.
That is exactly how the comic
now
starts.
Two of you have said
whereas
it,
this is a slightly different adaptation. But the comic has a whole big thing about the Soul Stone, and the film definitely has. I do not believe Gamora's dead. I don't think they're going to kill off Gamora because they haven't. Gamora's not done yet. Her story is not done yet.
See, this is the thing, Keith. Yeah, if you listen to the podcast that me and Alex did, we said anyone who gets done in by the Soul Stone can come back, and anyone who gets done in by the finger click can come back. Anything else outside that, probably dead.
Probably.
Yeah, I put like I mentioned to you. I haven't said it on podcast, but I mentioned to you. I purposely have not listened to the podcast where you've been talking about this film because I wanted to stay away from as much as I could before watching it myself, and I managed to do that. Actually, I went into this film without knowing anything, which isn't hard for me. But let's be honest.
I like that.
Really had no clue. Yeah, my initial reaction is, I hope none of the characters I like are taken out. And then I saw Black Panther go, and I thought, there goes the franchise.
No, trust me, Disney have got shareholders. He's not going anywhere.
No. And although he is a bit of a boring person in the film, I like the film.
The film is good.
And then who else went? I thought Gamora was dead, and I liked her. But now you're telling me that she's in the Soul Stone, so can possibly come back. So I'm not so bothered by that. Obviously, Star-Lord was gone.
Yeah.
Not killing
and
him
Groot gone.
Yeah.
And Drax gone.
My
and I was sitting there going, that's another franchise. Fuck.
Put it this way, Nigel.
They're my favourite. I like Rocket. I do like Rocket, but then that just leaves Rocket, doesn't it? Out of the lot.
Well, yeah, and I put it this way: Guardians 3 is not going to be called Guardian of the Galaxy; it's Guardians of the Galaxy.
No, it's going to be called Rocket of the Galaxy.
The Guardian of the Galaxy.
It's the reason we kept the title from you. Okay.
Who else got taken out? That is
pretty much all of the new
Avengers
Avengers
got taken out.
Yeah, pretty much. Spider-Man.
Yes,
that was the one that gets me though. That was. Come on, you must have. Even your cold stone heart must have felt something there, Gaz. When Spider-Man.
I'll be honest with you. They said that they allowed him to do his lines himself, and I reckon he ripped off David Tennant with that "I don't want to go."
Yeah.
Oh, maybe.
because he was like,
But it worked. It worked.
It did. It worked really well for David Tennant too. It's one of the best goodbyes I've ever seen from any character in anything.
They did drag it like in the same when you saw other people sort of melting off into the distance. It didn't take very long. They were like within a second they were gone. But with Spider-Man, it lingered. It took about 4 or 5 seconds, much longer, so he could say his lines.
Yeah.
Maybe, I don't know, dramatic effect, but it did take longer. I don't know if there was any significance in that. Probably not. Just to give you a little bit of a heartwarming moment.
Where the hell was Hawkeye? So he's got to be significant in the next one.
Hawkeye's under house arrest along with Ant-Man.
Yeah,
that's what they said. They said that in the film.
Yeah.
But did Hawkeye? Yeah, I know they say that, but Hawkeye had a character poster for this film, so that was kind of a red herring. So he's got to turn up here. I like Hawkeye. He gets too much shit. I'm a Hawkeye fan. I like Hawkeye.
I'll be honest with you. He was the best character in Age of Ultron.
Yes.
It was like kind of I'm hanging around with people who've got powers like gods, and what have I got? I've got a fucking bow. I don't know what I'm doing here. That's what I liked. I love the fact they went, I don't know what I'm doing here, but I'm fucking giving it a go.
But remind me, is that the one where he gets mind controlled or something? And he's doing the bidding of Loki? I can't remember.
Yes. That is Hawkeye in Avengers 1. In Avengers 2, he's the one that basically mentors Scarlet Witch, effectively.
Right.
And he does it very well. And
Scarlet Witch is the one with the red hands, yeah?
Yes.
And the dodgy accent.
You see, now, here's a bit of trivia for you, Nigel, so to add to your geekness. Because until recently, they couldn't actually say who her daddy was because they didn't own the rights. They now do, or are in the process of owning the rights. So are they actually going to do it? Because her daddy is Magneto. Her daddy is Magneto, who's an X-Men.
Yes.
Who was owned by Fox until very recently.
Well, did Disney buy the rights to Fox?
They bought film and TV bits from Fox.
Well, they bought
so
Fox.
Are we looking to?
Well, they didn't buy They didn't buy the news, and they didn't buy the sports.
No.
They left that be.
So are we gonna be seeing in the future some sort of X-Men and Avenger type thing crossover?
Yes,
and
I think we are.
Four.
Hence the reason why I think killing off Tony Stark makes more sense, because they've suddenly got a plethora of more new characters that they can do. So it's going to be interesting.
Can we talk about the Expanse now? Because
how fucking epic has it been? How
it has.
I'm loving it. I like the last episode.
I'm like McDonald's with it. I'm loving it.
No, I genuinely, I think the full series has been really good. I love having what's her face on the ship. Naomi's still irritating me. It's just fuck off, Naomi. I mean,
no, because Naomi has the best worst boyfriend, Marcos Inaros.
I know in the book
is the leader of the Free Navy, and that guy is an epic cunt.
Yes, I know.
And when he gets destroyed at the end of the fucking book, he's absolutely brilliant. But that's like 3 books.
Yes, I know in the books what she is, and she's not as irritating in the books as she is at the moment. She's just irritating. Just fuck off.
She's made a mistake and she's floundering. That's what she's doing.
Yeah, but I find it irritating.
Perfectly fine for the character. The thing I don't like is that the Bobby character in the books is better than the Bobby character on the screen. Because the Bobby character in the books is a bit stoic, shall we say? She doesn't get like the PTSD and shit that the other Bobby got. The character's a bit more of a stoic one.
I quite like her in this. I do. She's interesting.
She's good, but she's not quite what I pictured in the books, if that makes sense.
No, I know, but that's always the problem. I mean...
Because you picture her as like 6'6" in the book.
Yeah.
Yeah, they describe her as like a Valkyrie. Yes. And then they describe certain men as having certain fetishes about women of that type. And then she's like... Because Avasarala turns around and says, try and persuade them, and it's like kind of... You should, do whatever you got it means. And she turns around and goes, I'm not going to go out there and present myself like that. I'm going to beat the shit out of them.
But they do... they don't drift too much, but they do drift a little bit now and again from the books. So
yeah, what's his mush? Mao. The Mao character in the books is just an out-and-out bastard. And he's an out-and-out bastard to both his daughters, both Clarissa and to Julie. And you'll find out halfway through when you meet Clarissa for the first time in this series.
And he's conflicted here. He is.
Yeah, he's not conflicted.
Well, he is, because he tries to stop the program, because he forms a bond with the daughter, and it's then when he sees, in this latest episode, he sees that it's working, that he switches back. But there's definitely a confliction there.
See, but in the book, in that it's like the daughter disappears, and you don't hear fucking anything. Yeah, they even start up these funny things in the book. They start up a GoFundMe campaign to try and help find her. And then that goes really well, and he raises it. They raise like 1 million fucking credits or something, and then his wife then chimes in, says that he's a fucking paedophile, and then Amos then threatens to beat the shit out of him if he doesn't tell him the truth. He tells him the truth, and he goes, "What if I told you something else?" He goes, "I would have flushed you out the airlock." And it's like, "Oh, but you said you wouldn't." No, but you're a paedophile, and that's bad. And then when Amos is going to shoot that guy when he meets him in the thing, which is going to be good, and he's not going to think twice about it, to the point that what's his mush is like, we kind of need. No, fuck it, he needs to die, because he has like a thing with it.
It is kind of strange. Still getting used to Amos getting on with James rather than Naomi. It's a bit. It's kind of like the whole dynamic there has changed. And I don't know. I'm just finding Naomi irritating at the moment. It's just like, shut up. You should just be seen and not heard at the moment, Naomi. Just shut up.
He has the same thing in the book where he flips to supporting James over Naomi, because what he does is he perceives himself as a villain for all intents and purposes. He thinks he's a bad person. So the only way he can be good is to cling to someone else's morals and say, well, if they're a good person, if I just follow what they do, then I should be doing good. And he clinged to Naomi originally to do that, and then he saw what Holden did. And Holden, I like it because Avasarala describes him as an arsehole. And he even goes, yeah, I am an arsehole. I am a complete arsehole. I do fuck things up. And even he turned around and said it in the TV show, which is great, because you get these like self-righteous people in stories and stuff, and they just think they're good. Yeah, they get like animus possessed or whatever, but Holden's like kind of I fucked up loads, and I really really enjoyed it. I thought they were going to do the vomit zombie thing where they got onto they broke onto that Martian gunboat and they were going through it. I thought they were going to come across the proton molecule there. I thought it was going to be a hole and one of those fucking things in it.
I did as well. Can I ask you a sciencey question a minute about it? Because I know this show is very sciencey. How are they doing the gravity? Are they spinning the ships as they traveling? Because on the
there's two in the book. It describes it two ways. You have spin gravity, which is Tycho Station, and Babylon 5, where they spin everyone out and then you'll get pushed towards the outside of the drum. And then you got the gravity from the thrusters. Yeah. So they describe the ships as like giant skyscrapers, because you've got like this big tall bit and you stand at the top and you can feel the gravity. So it's like being in a giant skyscraper, and it's the thrust of the gravity. So the force that the thrusters are exerting on you, like when you go on a roller coaster or in a car and you get like pulled 2 or 3 Gs. Yeah, it was just like that. So they set the thingy, they set it up, and they set it to burn at 1 G, so they have gravity on it.
And so the ships are all set out. Or so when you're standing up, basically, if you look up, you're looking at the end of the ship.
You're looking at the nose of the ship, and then you look down, so the thrusters are at your feet.
Okay.
Yeah, because that's.
I was just wondering how they were doing it on the big UN naval ships that we keep seeing.
Yeah, that's why it looks. The way it looks like they got a circle bit and they're like standing on something. It kind of gives you the feeling that you're at the tip of a spear or something. That's how it works. There's that, and then they can, and as I said, the other one is spin gravity, because you'll come across the behemoth, and there's a great thing because the behemoth's got like that thrust gravity from moving, and it has the spin gravity in the drum too. So you have a weird thing when you have to cross over the threshold.
Yeah. By the way, Nigel, you've still got my Netflix. You should be watching this shit on Netflix. It's good. The first 2 seasons are on Netflix.
I've been trying to keep up with Flash and not so much Arrow. It knocks me a bit.
Yeah, I've gone off Arrow.
It's the same old shit every single episode.
I think I've gone off all of them. I'll be honest with you.
Yeah, I'm persisting with Flash.
You got off the Flash?
Yeah, I've gone off the Flash.
I did used to, but Barry Allen's attitude about shit. Sorry, I know I've just literally changed it from Expanse.
No,
to,
you're
Yes. Yeah, no, go.
But it's
That's
because
the
I've
idea.
been trying to watch that, and when I do try to watch it, I can't watch more than one episode at a time because it's the same old fucking Debbie Downer every episode when it comes to the Flash. And the
Yeah,
same,
the
the only
Flash
person
used to be
who's bringing
happy.
the downer is the Flash, Barry Allen. He's a moody little fucking bitch. Even more so now than when I was being threatened with extinction from a
For
saboteur.
extinction.
Yeah, Saboteur was going to kill her, wasn't it? Which
Yeah.
turned out to be him. But
Yeah, make her extinct.
Do you know?
Yeah.
I know what you
It's-
mean. Yeah,
it feels
I
like
do.
a chore to watch, whereas before, I really enjoyed watching The Flash. I really enjoyed watching Arrow. Do you know what I mean? And I've been
Yes.
trying to watch those during the week because I had a build-up of them because I went through a phase of going, nah, not interested.
No, I'm with you on that.
I think they really need to do so. But I to the point where I don't even know if Spider Girl, Super Girl is even back. Because it usually gets recorded along with the others, but I don't know if even Supergirl's back
It's back.
because I haven't seen
Yeah.
any adverts for it, or it's not up on
There-
my planner. It's nothing.
There was a very good episode of Supergirl. Not all of them have been very good, but there was one very good one where what's the name of the guy that works at DO that's Kara's friend? The one
Works
whose
at
dad
the-
is the
oh.
toy maker.
Oh,
Win.
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 Yeah.
His mother turns up, and his mother is played by Sheldon's mother from
Oh, really?
The Big Bang, and it's a really good episode because she's quite good in it. She's also Roseanne's sister, so if you're a Roseanne fan,
Oh
which
yes,
I
that's
am
where I remember her from.
I'm loving Roseanne. I know this is nothing to do with geeky, but I'm loving Roseanne at the moment. It's brilliant.
I used to growing up, but I'm not so sure I want to watch the latest.
The new one is really good. It's back to being what it was like when it was first on TV. It's really good, and it's very cleverly because she's pro Trump, and and she does this in here, but the sister isn't, and therefore it still presents. It's not a biased show because you have that sort of like complete counter argument.
Both sides of the argument.
It's quite interesting. It's quite a good dynamic. And I'm
okay.
loving Roseanne. I think it's great.
Yeah, I'd rather hear both sides of that rather than just
and
one
it's what
side.
Roseanne does. But
It wouldn't
that's
matter which side it is if you just hear the one side all the time. It's a bit fucking annoying. Anyway, yeah, so that's why I've not got onto Expanse yet. Because
You
I've
should.
been trying to keep up with The Flash and Arrow. Arrow, I'm probably about 3 episodes behind because, it's getting a bit fucking hard work to watch. Nothing.
Expanse,
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so I want
love
to
the
see.
Expanse.
Well, I suggest what you do is wait until the DC ones finish, and know that period between like now and September when there's fuck all on.
Yeah.
Then watch the Expanse during that period.
I probably will. Yeah, and I
No,
keep-
watch Lost in Space.
I haven't got round
yeah.
to that. Yeah, I'll do the same with that as well.
That's
Yeah,
good.
finding time. But now, now my eldest son's football season, that's soccer for you Americans, has finished. Training will soon cease, and I'll have some more time in the evenings to watch stuff like this because I'm not carting him around everywhere.
Okay,
So,
all right. I've been watching something on Netflix. I like my Danish drama, especially featuring ladies in large jumpers.
as you do.
Do you know what TV show I'm talking about when I say large jumpers?
Was it oh
Is it about sheep?
oh. No, it was the tunnel. No. Which one was it?
No, it's not Tunnel.
It was the other
It
one.
was The Killing, I think they called it.
Yes, yeah.
And it had they tried to do it, the American version of it, and they just fucked it up. And I'd rather watch it with subtitles on. Anyway, there was a TV show on. It's called The Rain. And I was like, oh, this might be interesting. Anyway, flipped it on. First problem was, it was dubbed over. So it was like shit. Find the Danish audio. So I found the original audio and pop the subtitles in because that's the way it should be watched. Because the dub over is always fucking terrible. And I started watching it, and it was just like this girl's coming into school, and then all of a sudden, Dad turns up, goes, "We've got to get you out of here. Just get out of it. Just get out of it. You've got to get you home faster, all right?" Takes her in the car. It's like, kind of, you've got to avoid the rain. What's fucking wrong with the rain, Dad? It's like, we've got to get rid of rain. And it cuts, and it's great, 'cause it starts off, and they get caught in a fucking traffic jam. And then you see these horrible fucking clouds. And I went, that looks like home. The horrible fucking grey clouds, and bolts of lightning, and rain just pissing everywhere. I went, that looks like home. We'd be fucked in this situation, because it'd already be upon us. So he gets the girls, and the girl and her brother and a mother, and they'll jump into this bunker. Yeah, so jump to this bunker. I think the episode's called "Just Hide" or something.
We're fucked.
So they hide down in the. We're fucked, yeah. And he's talking to his mum, and he explains that there's a virus in the rainwater. Yeah, so someone had seeded the clouds and put a virus in the rainwater, which will kill you very quickly. Yeah, and she's on her phone. Yeah, and she's like watching like her mates stream things from school and home with people dying and whatnot. Yeah. And you've got a little brother and everything, and he's like kind of upset by the whole thing. The dad says, "Look, I've got to go out and sort some stuff." So he puts on like a hazmat suit and disappears out this bunker thing they've got.
Yeah.
Anyway, the little boy turns around and goes, "I want to go outside." He goes, "No." So he runs out to go outside because he's a little shit. Yeah. He goes to run outside. Yeah. And his mum pulls him back, and then they start hearing a bang, bang, bang on the door. Yeah. So, oh shit, there's someone outside. So we can't open it up. We can't open it up. And the little boy goes out and then tries to open up the fucking thing. And he goes outside, and there's a guy that they had the crash with in the beginning. Anyway, the mum runs out, and she gets infected. And you can see that the guy who's getting rained on is now vomiting like something horrible and whatnot. Anyway, that then cuts to them, and then they've been in the bunker for like 5 years. Yeah, and there are flashbacks to where this girl has overheard a conversation that she's a dad's had with her mother in regards to kind of population control, kind of like Utopia. Yeah, and engineering a virus that can wipe out half the population. This kind of fits in with the Avengers. So it looks like her dad is responsible for the virus, hence having all the fucking bunkers and all the stuff put together. Anyway, the power's run out on the bunker, and everything's happened, and they get forced out at the end because someone outside blocks up the air vents, so they can't get any air inside. So they go outside, and they're being held up by people, and I've got to watch the next episode. And it's really good.
So,
it's really, really good.
Was it called The Rain?
Yes, The Rain.
I'm just Googling it. Yeah.
What do you call it? Pop the Danish audio on and put subtitles on in English. Don't listen to the dub over. Not done. I watched it, and I really kind of enjoyed it.
Yeah,
So,
because you don't want to watch something like this, which is relatively serious drama, with sort of police academy dubbing.
Yeah.
Do you know the guy? I mean,
I know.
Yeah, I know.
well, I've forgotten his name.
I know
Jones.
who you mean. Yeah,
Jones.
Yeah.
Are you?
My favourite.
Is it dubbing on Netflix?
Yes, dubbing on Netflix.
So, but you can turn on the subtitles and
Turn on the
off
Danish audio. Turn on the Danish original audio. And I prefer to listen to it. The problem is you've got to kind of be awake so you can read the subtitles and flick up and down and see what's going on at the same time. It's the same problem I had with The Killing, which was another really good one. But the next Danish TV watch.
Are you bracing yourself?
Right, actually.
I'm going to brace myself for Keith's surprise.
Are you bracing yourself? Right, brace yourself,
I've
boys.
braced.
Android Auto is better than Apple CarPlay by a considerable amount. There you go.
Okay. That's
right.
Really?
No, really. And I will tell you why. Right. So my mate came over from the UK a couple of weeks ago, and he had a Samsung S8, and we've got a Ford Ranger, it's a great big pickup truck, but it's tech laden, and it supports CarPlay and Android Auto, and I've never seen Android Auto. I've only seen CarPlay. And due to some weird fucking stupid regulation, which I have not found any kind of explanation for, Apple Maps and Google Maps do not work in cars in Thailand, and I don't know why. And they're not licensed; they can't operate. So Apple Maps shouldn't work here, full stop, and it doesn't very well. And Google Maps cannot. So when you start up Apple CarPlay in our car, it comes up with the Maps icon on the bottom thing, but you click on it, it just won't work. It's stopped in Thailand. And Apple Maps has never worked very well here anyway, so we've always used Google Maps. Android Auto is technically not even available in Thailand, but being Android, you don't have to install something from the Play Store. You can just go online and find the file and download it, and it works. But it's so much more intuitive than Apple CarPlay, and it's what Apple CarPlay should be. Based upon Apple's mantra of everything being simple, Android Auto is just so much simpler.
Keith, that's not Apple's mantra.
Well, it always was.
Do you know what Apple's mantra is, isn't it?
Yeah, make loads of money and don't give a shit about anything else at the moment. So anyway,
no, hang on a second. Apple's mantra is the following: it should cost 30% more than it should do. So what's the price of it? It's $200. Put 30% on it.
Look, I've just said Android Auto is better than Thing, right? Come on,
Yeah.
So anyway, we had a spare SIM card, so I this week bought an Android phone. Irony, I didn't really look at the Android that was installed on the phone when I bought it, so I just went and bought what I thought was a good Android phone. It turns out they iPhone 10ified my Android phone, and I'm trying to make it less Apple-like. I want it more fucking Android. Look at it; it looks like bloody Android. Look. iPhone 10, right? And I didn't realise.
Is it that Chinese one? What they call
Huawei?
This one is the Vivo V9. It's not available in the UK yet, but the main reason I got it is because it's red. I just wanted a cheap Android phone so I could use Android Auto in the car. Because not only does Google Maps work in it, it works really well. The whole way you choose music, and it's just so much simpler. But now, and you can use Google Maps whilst you get an overlay telling you what the tune. It's just so much better. It's just so much easier. But yeah, that's the reason I bought it. I'm showing for the people who are listening to this. I have a red.
He always does this shit. He forgets that no one can see what he does on a podcast. That's why I sit here half naked.
It's even got a bloody notch, but it's not quite as prominent as the notch on an iPhone 10. But yeah, I infinitely prefer Android Auto. I mean, seriously prefer it. And you know, this is harming. This is like a knife to my core. This is. But
didn't we have a 3-hour podcast we never put out because it was just me and you arguing?
Yes. Hence the reason why I said, are you bracing yourself? Because I'm about to tell you something.
Keith, I never thought that you were never coming over to the Android side. It was just a matter of time. You were coming over. Just needed time, mate. That's all it is. The problem is there's no other.
It took me 4 years because I had an iPhone 3GS, I think it was, and obviously I had that for 2 years. And then I had the 4S, and by that time, Apple had fucked me over so many times. I was like, yeah, fuck off, Android, and I've never gone back.
Yeah.
I mean, there are a few things I don't. It's not really criticism. Aesthetically, I like the Apple graphics for Apple Maps in the car, on the car system, purely because it's a subjective thing, but to me it just looks a bit clearer. If Google could slightly borrow from the way Apple do the in-car display, not the overall display, because that's way better on Google Maps, but I'm just talking about the in-car navigation bit. It looks slightly better on Maps than it does on Google. But it's a minor criticism because Google Maps is just so much better. And it works here. And their traffic information is incredibly useful here. And it's very, very accurate here. I don't really use it in the UK, but here it's very accurate.
Yeah.
And just instead of having to have a bloody phone glued to my screen, windscreen, just having it on the nice big sort of touch screen that we have in the car, and having a full Google map. It's just so, and being able to know what music's playing while still staying in map mode and not having to dick about with the phone, because none of the apps for it, like Spotify, just works better in Android Auto. TuneIn, which is the one we use because there's a local radio station here that plays sort of UK music, but it's very local, so we lose it when we go anywhere. But it's available on TuneIn, so we always stick it on TuneIn. TuneIn just works so much better in Android Audio. It's so much more intuitive. Everything about it is more intuitive, and it's never been that way. Well,
you wouldn't know that.
It's not as clunky as the Android I used before. The trouble is, I can't really comment about Android itself because they iPhone-ified this fucking phone, and it's really annoying me because I actually want it to be more Android-like, but I can't find a way of just putting bulk Oreo on it. It's basically called Fun Touch OS, which is based on Android 8.1.
Okay. I will send you a link, and on that link you can get the Google launcher, and it will iPhone it, okay? And you can have it as stock Android thing, because they have put things out to make it more Android-like. Okay, cool. I think.
Yeah, that was just. I thought I'd just say Android Auto. If you've never used it, use it. It's great.
I think the Google Pixel's still the best Android phone.
I can't comment about the actual phones, although I love the S8. And I played with the S9 the other day, and I really genuinely do like the S8. It's a very nice phone to use.
Problem for me with the Samsungs, it's got a lot of bloatware on there, and you've got to remove it before you can get down to having a good fucking experience with it.
I get where you're coming from. I'm just talking about holding that in your thing and the screen, and it's everything the iPhone 10 said it was going to be, and just isn't. This is how you design a phone. You do not need. I still don't get the notches. I don't get the need for them. I don't get why you can't just put a thin strip at the top and a thin strip at the bottom, and then have the screen completely thing. I just don't get it. I don't get the notch.
This is going to piss you off because the manufacturers figured out how to read fingerprints from the screen.
Yes, I know. Guess who it is? Vivo.
Is it Vivo? Oh God.
And yes, they have. Yeah, but they're still having manufacturing issues with it. But it won't be long. And what's the betting? It will take them a few years, but I think Apple will switch back to that, because I still say that fingerprint is more secure. Technologically...
Just put the fingerprint reader on the back.
And actually, as I said when we were talking about this months ago, it's quite intuitive.
Yeah, it is.
I don't get what the fucking Apple fanboys' problem was with it. I mean, this does do facial recognition, see, and it's worked. But it's just less secure, because I set Lemon up on it the other day, and I was explaining that's my wife, explaining to why fingerprint is more secure, because we got into an argument because she read on thing that they say Face ID is more secure, which technically it is, but reality it isn't, because there'll be some fucker that picks up your phone off the table and calls your name. You look and your phone's unlocked. I did it with my boss, because I had my ex-boss. I nicked his phone. I just went I put my phone over my face, and then I shouted his name, and he looked straight at me, and boom, his phone unlocked.
Okay.
Anyway,
a YouTube update. So we said last week that we'd get back to you, but because certain things had happened, we hadn't got round to it. So I'm going to start with Nige. What's your YouTube channel going to be about?
Well, I'm going to do a YouTube channel based around sports. And it's going to be, shocker.
Are you doing football and other sports? Because, if you're going to do a bit about F1.
Originally I was going to do it around football or soccer for our American friends. But what I'd like to do is predominantly football, but then maybe mix in some other sports. Or anything sporty, really. Sorry?
You're an F1 fan?
Yeah, but why would I do F1? I can't fucking drive a Formula One car, mate.
I can't afford a Formula One car.
No, but
Yeah,
I'm
but you
talking
wouldn't
about
use-
sports. I mean, it depends if you're going to be talking about sports, you can talk about F1.
Well, no,
doing
I know
a YouTube
doing-
channel.
Oh,
Why would
it's
I
like
talk about?
trick shots and stuff.
I don't know. It's what
I'm
you
going
talk.
to be. No, it's going to be
You
about.
know what they say? Those who can't do YouTube.
Well, mine's going to be about doing sports mostly.
Fair enough.
So with football, doing trick shots with football or something like that, we might get some other sports involved later down the line. But what we know the best is I'm going to do this with my eldest son. My youngest son might come in and help every so often, but we're going to do trick shots and things like that with football.
Ah, okay. Now I get it.
So, yeah, stuff like that. Yeah.
Okay.
But who knows?
But-
Who knows
Okay.
if I can actually get around to doing it? Because you need the weather. You need the weather to do it.
Yeah. But on the bright side, you can film about 3 videos in a day.
Probably could.
So you could cover 3 weeks worth of work in one go.
Yeah,
So-
yeah. That's right.
Okay. All right, Keith, go on. Tell us what your one's about.
I've
Dildos.
got-
He reviews
I've got-
dildos. He reviews dildos. He loves dildos. He can't get enough of dildos. He's just
I've already
doing
put a
dildos.
video online because
About dildos.
We're meant to get it ready last week, and I'm the only fucker that did. So I've already got one set up. Although I can't get a custom URL at the moment. So if you Google or go to YouTube and type in the K-Spot, some other fucker's already stolen the name the K-Spot, and it's shit. But the second one underneath it, which is just like a big blue K, that's me. And I've put a video on there, and surprisingly, it's going to be about drones and camera equipment and things around that kind of subject. And at the moment, the first one on there is just a video footage I did in Singapore.
Okay.
So it's basically called A Silly Day in Singapore, and it was my wife mainly riding around on one of those Segway things in Marina Bay and other areas in Singapore. And it was my first sort of attempt at a drone-related video. But I've got an Osmo 2, so I'm going to do a review on that, because the one thing I could have done with in Singapore was something like that, so I could have done more sort of ground-level footage. But it's a bit shaky, whereas obviously you've got the nice smooth footage from the drone, and I kind of want to sort of replicate that on the ground. So I got myself an Osmo Mobile 2, which is a gimbal for your iPhone, because the iPhone mobile phones these days are actually quite good video cameras, but you've got to steady them. If you can steady them and use them on a gimbal, they're quite good. So
Okay.
I got myself an Osmo 2, so that's probably going to be my next video, because I'm going to do a little review on that. Because actually you can do some really creative shit with it. And I'm quite impressed, because it does like time lapses and motion time lapses. So you can sort of do a time lapse, but it moves, so you can pick point A to B. So in that duration, you've got a moving time lapse, and you can do some quite creative stuff with that. So as I was down on the there's a market in our local town, and it's right on the seafront, and you get some spectacular sunsets. And I was just thinking, you could do a motion time lapse of that sunset over an hour, and it would be a really good video. So yeah, I'm going to do my next video is on the Osmo 2, I think, and that's actually going to be me in front of the camera doing a review. So it's going to be reviews and drone footage and that kind of shit.
Okay. Me, I was stuck with a couple of ideas. One of them was I was going to cover data science, and how algorithms work to process data, and then I realised no one would fucking watch that because that's fucking boring. And as I tried to learn how all this shit comes together and the benefits of it, and then it was like kind of I'll do geeky stuff and that, and then another thought of like kind of I should do like a journal, because I got this book and it's called From Me to You, and it's especially like a dad's thing supposed to hand down to the kids. So I looked at it all and I went, I'm just gonna fucking vlog. Just gonna vlog. I'm gonna find something interesting to talk about, and I'm gonna talk about it. And I've got subjects for where I will struggle to have something to talk about, but I'll talk about things like the Expanse and experiences in my life, and having to deal with two kind of flaming retards on a podcast, that sort of thing. No, not even a nibble for that one.
Must be so difficult for
no,
you.
you're just not getting it. You're not getting it. Two flaming retards. I don't know who you're talking about. I can't relate to that.
I'm the tard.
There's left and right balls.
Anyway,
Yeah.
so I'm going to do that. I've got a couple of topics and stuff, and the idea is that I pick up something at the beginning of the week. I think about it over the course of the week, and on Friday, after having hopefully some nice coherent thoughts about it, then I'll record it. I'll record an audio track, and then I'll just nick some bits off of video blocks to fill in the gaps, just to make it kind of nice and interesting. So yeah, that's me. And it'd be cheaper than a fucking Osmo to get those bits. So, all right, so that's our YouTube stuff that we're going to do. And we'll see how it tracks, because I don't know if YouTube is dying, but this will be the test to see if it is or isn't dying. If we can start off and get some growth and whatnot. Yeah, go on, Keith.
I don't know how many subscribers I got. Last time I checked, I got 2. One of which is my 8-year-old niece.
And the other one's me.
Oh, thank you.
The other one's... So you got 2. I can't find Nigel's yet.
No, I actually did a search for mine. I won't say the name yet because it's not properly done. Literally just made it. And I couldn't find it when I searched. But that's YouTube for you.
All right, so there's
3 subscribers. I've got 3 subscribers and 14 views.
Wow. Okay, so I'm going to take a bite before I choke to death. I've been having that back. I'm trying to have that back for the entire podcast. Oh, excuse me. Say goodbye, guys, quick.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Do you think we killed him? Please. Do you think we killed him?
No, you haven't killed me, not yet.
Oh, shit. Thanks for downloading the Monkey Nut Punch podcast. You can follow us on Twitter at Monkey Nut Punch. You can also find us on Facebook, facebook.com/monkeynutpunch.
Okay, we're back. Keith wanted to talk about something political.
I did, yes.
I haven't finished coughing. I don't know what you're going to talk about. Is it something to Bristol?
Exeter University.
Bristol University.
So do you guys obviously use WhatsApp because we have a WhatsApp group in there, right?
Yeah, that's how we organise everything.
So I've got a WhatsApp group with a bunch of mates, and in that group, if outsiders came into it and read it, some of the stuff could be taken the wrong way because, we might use racial slurs, but in a funny way because we're from all different backgrounds and races and religions. And because none of us are easily offended, we all pick on it. And believe me, that the Indian guy has on more than one occasion, use some generic white racial slurs on me, but that's not racist in any kind of way in this day and age. But anyway, a group of students at Exeter Uni had one of these style of groups, and one of the guys in there, they made stupid jokes, like a few rape jokes, including racial slurs, like the usual N-word and things like that. And anyway, one of the students fell out with the rest of the group and reported them for a hate crime. And guess what? They are all being prosecuted.
And that's why that Dankula thing for the GoFundMe is so important.
That is exactly what I was about to say to you. I mean, it is ridiculous. This is a private WhatsApp group between friends. The guy that fell out with them was taking part in this group, but is not being prosecuted. And because he decided to suddenly take exception at this, he has now managed to screw up all the other students' careers from what is really an innocent group, because none of them are racist. It is context. It comes back to the argument that we had with the whole Count Dankula thing. It's all about context. And this is why these hate crime laws are a pile of steaming shit and absolutely nothing to do with hate crime. It's government overreach. It is government control, and that's what they really are. They are nothing to do with preserving our precious little, thingy. They are all to do with control, and they are bollocks. They are they are impeding your freedom. Because, I'm not racist. I might use a racial slur as a joke to my friend. He uses the same thing back to me. It's fine. Because it isn't racist.
I'm going to be honest with you. If I can't be racist because I'm just too fucking lazy. How much effort do you have to fucking put into being racist? Be honest. It's too much. It's too much work. Just take people as you find them. Yeah? I can't, discriminate against kind of all people from, let's pick a country at random, Sri Lanka, because I've barely met anyone from Sri Lanka, so I've barely had time. That means I have to now think about Sri Lanka. I have to research Sri Lanka. I have to go through all this shit. And it's too much fucking effort. Sorry, that's just me trying to lighten the humour and try and lighten it a bit, but it's dumb. The problem with this is it's a private conversation. Yeah,
but it wasn't.
And
even
here comes the other thing:
bullying. It was just a bunch of mates taking the piss out of each other.
I know. It was private, Keith. Yeah. It was private, and that's the definition. It should never have got this way because it's fucking private. Yeah. If anything, the guy should be done for intruding upon their fucking privacy.
Well, no, the guy himself was part of the group.
Yeah, and then he just sat there. He put them out so people could see them.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is I find this disturbing because I sat there and I talked about free speech, and I said that there are a few exceptions to it, and the exceptions go as follows: lying, inciting violence, comedy, yeah, because you can sit there and say you're going to hurt someone, and comedy and all these things, yeah. But what I didn't say is hate, because it's perfectly normal to hate, yeah. I hate pollen. Yeah, doesn't mean pollen's getting banned anytime fucking soon, is it? Yeah, seriously, I do. I've got a hay fever. I'm at the moment. I'm in a weird place because I've got a cold and I've got hay fever.
Can I ask you something? Would you make an exception? Because you said about inciting violence and genocide and that kind of thing. But if I said kill all the mosquitoes, nobody's going to disagree with me, are they?
No.
I want to incite. I want to incite violence against mosquitoes.
But saying again, that probably have some massive environmental impact.
Yes,
I say the same things about wasps.
Yeah, I think the wasp is the thug of the garden.
Yeah, at least bees do something. What the fuck do wasps actually do?
Apparently,
what is their
wasps
point?
do a bit of pollination. Do a bit of pollination too.
They don't make honey. They don't do shit. They are completely fucking pointless. Bees have a point. But, bees are nice. Wasps, they're just cunts. They are cunts with wings. Excuse me. As are mosquitoes.
But I watched a video on this by bloody Sargon of Akkad, and he started off and he quoted 1984, and he quoted a thing about how in 1984 the children were being indoctrinated to sell out their parents, and when they managed to sell out their parents to the thought police, they would be described as child heroes. And now we're getting a case where people are selling out their fucking friends and family and it's like that. It's becoming the thought police.
And there's legislation for it. That's the scary thing. There is legislation for it. You are being encouraged to do this. Yeah, you just have to look at that tweet that the guy with the whole Jonathan Pye thing, where the British police commented on the tweet saying, if you feel offended by this, come and make a complaint. It was encouraging people to make a complaint. There should be no encouragement around this. The legislation here and the precedent that is setting, people do not realise that as you said yourself, Gareth, the British law, we don't have a constitution in the UK like they do in the States. All of our laws set precedents, and therefore, it's like I had a massive argument about 4 years ago when the British government put out a rule saying to all ISPs they had to block the Pirate Bay. It was the first type of thing, and I said they shouldn't be doing this. But the Pirate Bay is illegal. I said I don't care about them blocking the Pirate Bay. If you look at what the law says and what the order says, it means that they can block anything they fucking want to. And lo and behold, 4 years down the line, there are over 10,000 websites blocked in the UK. The web is effectively censored in the UK, and some of these websites have nothing that are not illegal. They are not offering free torrents. They are not offering things. They are sites that are anti-conservative or anti-thing. There are sites there that are anti-government that are being blocked, and it's the same thing here with these goddamn hate crimes. They set precedents, which means that we can be done for saying things. It's no joke that if John Cleese did his whole German thing now that he did in 48 hours live to a British audience and somebody made a complaint, he could be prosecuted under these hate crimes. Comedy is being attacked.
The guy Jordan Peterson said that you can't, in a situation like that, say you're in a crowd of 1,000 people, there's no way that one person's not fucking offended.
Yeah.
It's absolutely, that's one thing you can be fucking guaranteed. And I don't know what's going on. I really don't know what's going on.
You cannot.
I'll send you a video by Count Dankler. It's called Bring Your Own Chair.
I've seen it.
Have you seen that one where you go somewhere, and it's the bit in the first third of it where he turns around and says, "This is being done for a reason. Someone's got plans for you." And that sent a fucking shiver down my spine because I looked at that and went, he's right. They're doing this because they've got plans. I don't know what the plans are.
There is a reason we tag this onto the end of the podcast, because we have a certain amount of subscribers. But you need to, as much as we have fun about our podcast, and this is why we put it on the end, because we don't want to ruin the fun, you do need to be worried about this. This is an attack on your freedom. Everybody gets offended. That is not a crime. Nigel might say something completely, or Gareth might say something completely harmlessly that might offend one of us. It's just called human behaviour. You cannot go through your life not offending at least one person. Should you be prosecuted for that? No. Because it's human behaviour.
That Keith's not like in the Avengers deeply offended me, and by these people's rule, I could have had him executed.
Yeah.
You could have been executed. Right, no, sorry, you're going to be executed by Mickey Mouse and Darth Vader.
Hang on. I said I liked the Avengers. I just didn't love it, and I hold to that. I liked it more the third time. I just didn't adore it like a lot of people seem to be. I'm holding to that. I liked it,
but that's fine. Yeah, I'll be honest with you, that's fine. The only downside is that kind of certain things aggravate me, and certain things aggravate me. So,
but you're right. But you're right. Under these laws, it won't be long before you'll be able to make a complaint, and the British police will have to investigate it. These laws need to be stopped. They need to be stopped because they will be used to stop your freedom even more. And these leftists, these people that are meant to be so liberal and meant to be so, free, they are the ones that are the Nazis at the moment. They are the ones that are trying to control. They are the ones that if you don't agree with, you should be banned. They are the ones that saying anybody that voted for Donald Trump or Brexit is a racist, which is bollocks.
Hang on a second. Hold on a second. Did you see the thing about Kanye West?
Which one?
I don't like Kanye
stand.
West, but Kanye West's I think because I think it was a Taylor Swift thing that annoyed me, where he goes, "Oh, he literally pushes her off stage." And says, "Oh, I think Beyonce had a better fucking video," which is like rude. It's so fucking rude.
Yeah, but Taylor Swift is.
But hang on a second. Under freedom of speech rules, that's fine because you get to see that he's been a bit of an arsehole. He got his opinion across, but he's still thinking a bit of an arsehole. He turned around and said that he supported Trump and that. He goes, he didn't vote, but he would have voted for Trump. And everyone fucking melted down. And it was like, the guy's allowed to do what he fucking wants. Leave him alone, yeah? And then there were some other things. He talks about this person called, what's her name? Candace Owens? I think her name's Candace Owens. And she was talking about how black people in America seem to have a chip on their shoulder about slavery, but none of them lived through it, and none of them lived through fucking Jim Crow. So why have you got a chip on your shoulder about it? But it's holding you back. It's holding them back.
It's what society is at the moment, and this is the thing it is politically correct to hate Donald Trump. It is politically correct that he is just an arsehole. But here's the thing. This is the thing you need to be more worried about. And I'm going to use this. Next time you watch a BBC News report that's about Donald Trump, watch it. Then go back 5 years and watch any BBC report on Obama, or further back than that, George W. Bush, who was, before that, universally hated. Every time the BBC will refer to them as President Bush or President Obama, every time they talk about Donald Trump, they refer to him as Mr. Trump. They do not call him President Trump, and it says it all. Here's the thing, right? You look at the whole thing a few months back, where the UK, where President Trump supposedly said shithole countries about Nigeria in a White House, a closed door meeting. That was the big story of the day. The bigger story of the day was actually the fact that President Trump was refusing to come to England to open up the American embassy, the new American embassy in the UK. Supposedly their biggest friend, their best friend, their closest ally. That's what both countries claim. But the big story that day on the BBC was Trump saying shithole countries, and the BBC loving the fact that they could say shit for 30 hours. But my point is, you might not respect Donald Trump, but respect the goddamn position that he's in, whether you like it or not. And our media, the way our media is now reporting things, it's just wrong. And you look at the way the media covered the Count Dankula case and calling him a racist because it was the politically correct thing to do. And the guy says it so many times in the fucking video. He's not a Nazi. How many fucking times does he have to say it?
I think that the media, I'm going to call them the media class, are the new clergy.
You're right.
And they are telling you what you can and can't. They're being very dogmatic, and that's the one thing I fucking hate about religion. If you ever argue with me about religion, the whole dogma thing is the bit that gets my fucking goat. All right, I'll give you an example. I'll give you an example. Jordan Peterson again was on Bill Maher's show, yeah. And he turns around and said, he goes, look, I know you guys go on about Trump and whatnot, but about, say 50% of the country voted for him, yeah? If 50% of the country voted for him, what you're doing is, by doing this, is you're pushing them away, where you should be bringing them in. We can all work together. And they completely fucking ignored him. They just formed this echo chamber around him, and you could see that Jordan Peterson, who's a clinical psychiatrist, just was like, what the fuck? Seriously, it doesn't matter about Trump. The people who voted for him, you're pushing away. So guess what's going to happen next time the election's going to come up? Guess who they're going to vote for? They don't vote for your fucking guy, are they? Because you didn't fucking invite them in. They're going to vote for the other one. So we've got 2 terms of Trump, if it carries on this way. I'd vote for him if I fucking could. Which I can't. But just to piss people off. Just to piss people off. Because it's not him. It's not his politics. It's the other side of it. It's the other way they're reacting, which I don't like.
It's the fact that you should be non-biased. You should recall him President Trump, whether you like it or not. And it is a prime example of how the media is becoming has more and more of an agenda. And the BBC, who is supposedly meant to be, they have more laws. The BBC have more laws than any other broadcast association in the world because, and I hate to use the cliche line, but it is true, the unique way they are funded. The BBC are meant, you know, you could almost expect it from the likes of Fox News and Sky News and things like that. The BBC are far more biased than any of them put together these days, and they are.
Yeah, because they can afford to be biased. If you're biased to one of the other things, then you'll lose money and you'll lose viewers. The only reason that these people exist in this fashion is because they can afford to. Because they can afford to be like this. Because if you're in a commercial entity and you try to behave like this, you wind up going out of business. But that's a fact.
But
that's why you get it at universities. Then this is one thing, right? We don't teach German National Socialism in fucking universities, do we?
No.
That's the polite way of saying Nazi. Yeah? Mm-hmm. But for some reason, we still teach fucking Marxism. Mm-hmm. And people are getting taught this. And there's a thing where there's a Facebook page, and I'm right to go and see it, called Film My Marxist Fucking Professor. Yeah? Sorry, we don't fund Nazis, we shouldn't be funding communists. We're a capitalist society. Yeah? And I just, like, we have funding and stuff for bits, but that's not socialist. That's more like, what's the term? Like mercantile or something along those lines. But it's bollocks. I hate it all. I'm sorry for having to drag you guys through this, and this shit is really coherent. But I think everyone's pissed off with the media of sorts.
But basically, going back to what we said at the start of this segment about these hate crimes, and we mentioned in last week's thing, the Count Dankula case. He is trying to appeal this case, and it's very, very important. Because if he appeals this case, this means that it will set these kind of laws back, and that's what we need to do. So you might not agree with what he did. You might have been offended by his video, but get past that. Get past that and look at what's actually happening and support this guy's GoFundMe page. I've donated, and I'm going to be tweeting about this and sending it out, because this guy needs to win this case seriously. Because this isn't about him. It's about something so much bigger. And it really is serious. So fund this guy. Give this guy the money. Because, again, as I said, you could have been offended by what he said. Just see past that. See the big picture. That's me done. So, sorry we had another political segment. Promise we won't have one next week, hopefully. But
yes, we'll be free of it. Because, as I said before, it's not... We kind of want a bit of escapism from all this stuff, and that's one of the reasons I would like doing the podcast, is we could. But saying that, Keith, you're quite welcome to come over onto my YouTube channel. We could discuss this.
Yes, we could. Yes, we could. Yes, we could. All right, guys.
We could. All right.
Well, thanks
very much.
Yeah, if you stuck with us to this point, thanks for sticking with us, and we'll catch you on the next podcast. Goodbye.